On day 22, we considered Isaiah's prophecy about a Christmas stump. Though the kingdom of Israel was cut down at ground level with the exile, leaving nothing but a stump, God would revive the kingdom of Israel by causing a shoot to spring forth from that stump. Today we consider a second prophecy about the coming of Jesus, a prophecy given by God through the prophet Micah regarding the place where the Saviour would be born. But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times. The Israelites had returned from exile, rebuilt the city of Jerusalem, reconstructed the temple, and they had resumed temple worship. But the nation of Israel never returned to her former state of strength and glory. She never returned to the strength and glory she once enjoyed during Solomon's reign, not even close. Although the people of God were again living in their homeland, they did not enjoy full independence as a nation. The Israelites were mere tenants in a land which formerly belonged to them. They rented this land by paying tributary taxes to a succession of Persian, Greek, and Roman rulers. As for the reconstructed temple, it was nowhere near its former size and splendor. By Jesus' day, the throne in Jerusalem was occupied not by a righteous descendant of King David, but by wicked King Herod the Great. He was a descendant of Esau. He was appointed by Rome as a king, and he was ruthlessly wicked. He stole his brother's wife. He murdered a whole slew of his family members, including one of his wives, 3 of his sons, and a bunch of his in-laws, and many others. And then, in an act of infanticide, Herod murdered all the baby boys in Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under. All this he did in an attempt to maintain his position and his power. With the palace in Jerusalem occupied by a succession of corrupt kings who were not of King David's descent, how would the promised ruler of David's line be born and come to reign? Micah's prophecy gave God's people a clue. Don't look to Jerusalem, was the clue. Don't look to its thoroughly corrupt corridors of power. Instead, look to the backwoods town of Bethlehem in the region of Judah. This humble town would be the birthplace of Jesus the Saviour. And his lineage goes back not merely 1,000 years earlier to King David, who was born in the very same Judean town. This ruler's lineage goes even further back, all the way back into eternity past. And that's because Jesus is not only the Son of David, he is the eternal Son of God. Thank God that though Jerusalem was occupied by evil rulers appointed by Rome, God's ancient promise still stood and would be fulfilled. And thank Jesus for being a king who was willing to give his life up so that we might gain our lives back again.